Howdy folks, Troy with V-Twins, the V8s. I'm back here. I'm going to do another little project. Been on vacation, been doing a lot of different things. Got a little project going on here now, something a little bit different, and I thought I'd come on and show you what I'm doing and how I do it. So you've probably seen my videos. If not, you can check them out on YouTube. You can check out my website, vtwinsthev8s.com, and vtwinsthev8s.com on Facebook. But I do these Evel Knievel helmets, and I buy the old vintage helmet so you get the right look, and I prep the helmet, and I put the Evel Knievel scheme on. So what I've decided to do is I had some Sportster tins around. I got a rear fender, front fender, and a Sportster peanut tank, and I decided that what I do while I'm doing this helmet is I would make a similar scheme on a set of tins. So I'm coming on camera now to show you what I'm doing and how I do it. So if you look at any of my other videos, it kind of shows you how to get your tins or your tank, fenders, etc. Prepped for paint. What I've done is I've painted this in a pure white base coat, clear coat. I cleared it, let it sit for a couple days because I was doing some other things. I sanded this down with some 600. Take all my little nibs off, any orange peel, any whatever I might have on it. And now I'm laying out my Evel Knievel look, design, so to speak. It's got to mimic the stripes that are on the helmet. So basically what you have is you have a blue stripe and a set of stars, and then you've got a red stripe on either side of that. And then the rest of the tank is white. So I'm going to bring the camera over and I'm going to show you what the helmet looks like, what the stripe looks like, and then what my tank looks like as I'm setting it up. And I've got my fenders out of the view of the camera right now. They're all taped and ready to go. My Evel Knievel helmet, and as you can see, the helmet itself is white, the stars are white, the stripe is blue metallic, and the red is just a straight up bright red. Right now this hasn't been cleared. This is just base coat, so it's going to have kind of a satiny look to it, what you see on the camera. So this here, I've done that, and then I did my Evel in gold leaf, and then I edged it out with one-shot sign painter's paint. So this is pretty much ready to be clear coated and done. So I'm going to set this on the side, and I'm giving you a view of this so you can see what I'm planning on over here with my tank. So here's my tank here. So I started out with this just plain old white tank, and I want to have it have the same look as my helmet. So what I did was I found my center line of the tank, and to make my stars, I have these stars cut out of this frisket material, which is, it's like a vinyl decal, but it's not, it's designed to be removed. It's like masking tape. Rather than the decals that you put on something are designed to stay on there, this is designed to be put on there and then removed. I don't recommend to use regular decal material, and the reason I don't is because you're going to have a really hard time getting it off, and when you do, it's going to leave a lot of glue. So if you decide to go this route, definitely use the frisket material. So I marked out my center line here with a crayon pencil. Then I laid out my stars. Now I lay my stars out by hand. A lot of guys do a lot of measuring and stuff. I do to a certain extent, but for the most part, you're not going to see this. So if you look at this, you'll see I got this little cap that I use. That is definitely the center line. I pulled a line off of the edge of it here, and I just made little marks as I go along. So then I figured out where I wanted to have my stars so that they're pretty evenly spaced, and then I placed them down with the point on my line here, and with the other mark lined up with this little point on the bottom of the star. So I kept them all in line. Now this first line of fine line tape, I use 3M blue fine line, goes along the edge of the stars to create the blue that you see here. Okay, so I got that laid down like that right there. Then I lay down another fine line right next to it. And the reason that I do that is what's going to happen. I'm going to tape off right here and cover the tank. And this is going to remain. what I'm going to do afterwards, and I'll show you when I get to it, is I'm going to remove this inside one, and that inside one is going to be my red line, and then I'm going to place one out here, and that's going to make my red line that you see here. So let me show you what I have over here on my fenders. So my fenders are all ready to go right now. So basically all I have is I got my stars all placed, and I've got my my fine lines down, and my papers on both sides. So that's ready to go. This is my back fender, and one of the things you want to think about with your fenders, not so much the front but the back, is there's a lot of stuff that goes on this fender. So I got a star down here at the bottom. The tail light is big right here, and then the license plate bracket is pretty big here, so you're not going to see that. So I got my stars here, and then this is where my back seat comes. So anything from here forward you don't see, but I had an extra star just to make it look right. I put this one here. But if you got your solo seat on, you see all that. When you put your full set seat on, it's going to cover it up to here, and you're only going to see this back half, but you'll get the overall look. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it, I'm going to get this the sides of my tank all taped off like I have that, and I'm going to apply my blue base coat over the center of this, and then I'll let it flash. After that's done, I'll remove that center set of tape, and I'll reverse my mask so I can do my red stripe. But I'll walk you through it as I do it. So for right now, I'm gonna shut the camera off, I'm gonna tape this stuff off, and then I'm gonna get my paint ready to lay this blue on. Okay folks, so I'm back here with my tank. I got my masking paper off to the side. I'm gonna bring the camera over and I'm gonna show you how I taped it off, and I'm gonna show you a little trick that I use. I've got both sides taped off. I brought my end down, and I just kind of came along the sides of this, and I'm going to end it off right here. So all this will be white, this will be blue, and then this inside's going to be my red stripe. What you're going to notice if you look at this really close is where my two pieces of tape butt each other, there's just a wisp of a little bit of a space. If you overlap it, you're not going to have the right width. If you go too far, it's going to be too wide, and you're going to have this space, but you're always going to have, you know, spots where there's going to be a little gap in here. So what I'm going to do is I've got this 1/2" tape, and I'm going to lay some of this 1/2" tape right over this edge right here. So as you can see, if I come in close, where the two pieces of the fine line butt each other, I'm just going to lay this 1/2" tape over the top. And what that's going to do, it's going to stop any blue from bleeding through this little edge here, so that when I peel that off, I'm not going to have that edge there. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down. I'm going to get the gun ready. I'm going to get my blue reduced and ready to go. I'm going to wash this down with some pre-cleaner, and we're going to put blue on all this center. I'll show you how that goes, and then that'll sit, and then we'll reverse our masking, put our red down, then after that we'll be ready for some clear. I've got my paint mixed, and I got it in the gun. I using my small touch-up gun because this is a very small area, use less paint, have less buildup. I really only want to put enough base down to get coverage. So in other words, I'm not trying to bury anything out or, you know, any of that. I just want to get my blue on here with as little buildup as possible, because I don't want big edges around my stars or any of that other stuff. So I'm going to put 2 to 3 light coats of my blue on there. I'm going to look at it really good to make sure that all my areas are covered, and then once that's all set, we'll let that dry, and then we'll reverse our mask, and I'll show you how that's.